Hello, all you beautiful people of light, my family of light and love, joy, peace, truth, trust, harmony. Welcome to my channel. My name is Claudia. If you're back, then I'm happy. I'm happy to have you here as a first timer, or whether you're back for more. And I'm just sort of a free, throw it out there kind of a gal. I'm the adventure model, and so you never know where I'm going to be or where I'm going to land or what I'm going to be doing. And such is this day. I have been in a shelter, in a homeless shelter, and during this cold weather where I'm at, we've had temperatures down into the 20s and 30s. And this was certainly an unexpected event for me. But you know, you have to turn lemons into lemonade, even if it's cold and you need it hot. But really, I hadn't been there very long, less than a day, when I realized why I was there. When I say that, most of you know that I am all about you being a soul, us being souls, having a human experience, and that this experience really is for our edification and our expansion, with the goal being to get closer to God, our creator, our source. Whatever you name it is perfectly okay. I'll use my terminology and you just translate it into yours, because that's perfectly all right. Everyone has, or somehow or another knows there's something bigger than you or me at work out there, and you call that whatever you want. It is the intention that matters. So here I am in this situation, which is, I don't even sometimes know where to begin. I've been for 4 or 5 days trying to figure out how I knew I needed to do this, but how in the world do you do it when you know you're going to be okay, which is always where I am for over 30 years now, easily since 1988, maybe a little before. 90 for sure. That's as solid as the date can get, a little before that. I've been led or guided to what I needed to do, and that's where I go, and that's what I never know what I'm supposed to do until I get there, and it will show up for me. So I look a little undone, and that's probably the right wording. It just about has undone me, because when I was in Seattle, I worked in Seattle for a number of years, and I would go out and bump into homeless people all over the place. I began taking an extra 1 or 2 or 3 extra pack lunches and to hand them out. They all want money. But I'm not in favor necessarily of that. I will feed you before I will give you, even cigarette or drug money or alcohol or whatever it is for. You just never know, right? Well, anyhow, so I'm not unfamiliar with that, but what I realized in going to a homeless emergency shelter is that I had not a clue what that life was like. And being there for 5 days really opened my eyes. I was a bit anxious, and you may or may not know me as someone who's fearless. I'm not totally fearless. Everybody gets afraid. However, I'm not known for letting the fear get in or stopping me. And so I was a bit anxious, I'll say, more than anything else. It was a real juxtaposition of things, a bit fearful, a bit anxious, but then completely calm as soon as I focused on God having my back, the universe having my back, my source taking care of me, then the calm sets right in and I'm fine. And you know, there was borderline fear, certainly curiosity as I observed and began questioning, you know, and looking at all those around me and what their roles were, and whether I thought somebody who was talking to the window or out the window was having a mental situation that, you know, they just needed somebody to talk to, and maybe they weren't able to do that with humans. At one point, and I knew I needed overnight shelter, and in this particular, I went into an emergency homeless shelter, and from there was put on a list for overnight lodging. So in this particular case, the homeless shelter emergency handled people during the day, then they were transported at night to a place where you could have a cot and a blanket and some food and get some rest. Fat chance of that for me. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm just, you know, I mean, my antenna were up, and I was just really, really observing what was going on and how this whole thing was going to unfold. Amidst what I'm just going to call the chaos, which to me is reflective of the planet right now, all of the dark forces that are really pulling strings one every which way to Sunday. It was just very much like that. And it was important for me to stay calm and centered and know that I was being taken care of. So amidst all that, I encountered a 25-year-old young man who had the clarity. I just thought this was remarkable, to understand that the abuses that his recent employer had been heaping upon him, just shoveling it left and right, as he used the word shoveled, he could see it as an effort to enslave him, and his wisdom through that situation caused him to realize the futility of his staying there and being able to maintain any personal dignity, any value for himself. He wanted to hold that individual accountable, and how can you when they're lauding your rent, your groceries, your gas money, whatever it is, over you. And he also knew that people his age were getting quite fed up. And my insides just lit up. I so love our young people on this planet because they're not stupid. They're quiet and they're observing to see what they can do, but they're not happy with the situation, and they're beginning to rise up. Just like he did. He'd rather go sleep in a shelter than to put up with what he was putting up with. I just thought that was very courageous. I mentioned to him it was courageous. There was a veteran in there, and I think he'd probably been homeless for a while. He had his cap and some of his military adornments, and he was still caught up in the Vietnam War of the 70s, and talking back there. I mean, living in the past. I found myself at one point in the ladies' room standing in a pile of urine, and as I attempted to extricate myself, I wasn't observant enough. I wasn't present enough to be looking around me, and who's expecting to be in this situation. But all of the toilets were like that, and there were other things that were not very sanitary and whatnot. So you pick yourself up by the bootstraps and you carry on. At one one point, it was getting late in the day and I was really tired. I think, you know, there's a strain is placed on you under such circumstances. But I was looking at someone new who had walked in, and I don't know if I had a lucid dream or if I had closed my eyes, but I saw his feet, and it was the feet of a dog. However, I wondered, shouldn't I go over and wash his feet? And what I knew was, it was the feet of the Master, and that I had my own opinions that I needed to clear up of, you know, individuals. And I wouldn't necessarily express that, but I think fear makes one do things that maybe you wouldn't do normally. So anyhow, that's all I really want to say for today. I decided to stay. It was apparent to me, I went to the night shelter, and it was apparent to me, and I was asked if I wanted to come, you know, with friends and family and whatnot, and I said no. I said there's a reason I'm supposed to be here, and I need to see what it is. And I think there's multiple reasons. I could see, you know, short staffing, and, you know, way more people than the shelter could handle and manage. There wasn't enough, you know, food for a snack or juice or something to give these people who are in desperate need of something nutritious. And so, you know, short-staffed, short-funded, you can go on, and I'll cover that some more in the next video. But I just wanted to stop in and say hello. I think I needed to see a friendly face out there, and I think you're it. So thank you so much for joining me for today. This is CJ from, I'm not in a shelter at the moment. I have the ability to get out during the day and go to the library or go to someplace else so that I can videotape and then upload. And so that's what I intend to do. So thank you for joining me. This will be day one of an emergency cold weather shelter. Thanks for joining me. You know that I love you this much, and my arms really reach around the globe. The amount of love and compassion that I have, I extend to you wholeheartedly. All the healing light and love that I can muster, and that's quite a bit. You can squeeze a lot out of me. So thank you for joining me. If you want to know information about me, my website, how I may help you in your own life, and you know, I'm wonderful to talk with. So if you just need somebody to ask some questions of, please don't hesitate also to comment. You'll see the link to how to reach me down below, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, be well, be safe, and be happy, my friends. Bye.